Hello, welcome to the latest Democracy 4 early access blog video update thing. I'm excited because I have a new proper green screen behind me, and it works better than the nonsense I used to have. Anyway, who cares? So the game is now in early access. It's out there on Steam and all sorts of other stores, which we'll talk about in a minute. I'm just going to run through the stuff that's happened in the last 2 weeks, which is quite a lot of stuff actually. So there's an Italian translation in now. It's not perfect, it's pretty good, but there was a few bits that were missing that recently got added. And I know someone like the accent characters aren't right in certain places, and it's on my list of things to do. It was sort of done by a kind of volunteer, and that's much appreciated. And it's great to have another language in the game, because we can then check like all of the stuff that should still work does, and it does, and that's good. We do have other translations coming. It's horrendously expensive when you hire a company to do it, but basically what we've done is arranged to have French, German and Spanish translations. There's a lot of words in the game. You've got all this like description stuff here for all of the like voters, and then all of the simulation stuff, and then all of the policy stuff, and all of this kind of stuff. There's a lot of text. There's like 70,000 words in the game, so that there is a lot to translate, so it does take some time, and we haven't done it beforehand because we keep changing the game, and it's a pain if you have to like go back and say, oh, here's a ton more stuff. We'll do a bit of that anyway, but you know. So that is on the way. We are now on the Epic Store. I know people have opinions on this. Gamers with opinions, imagine that. But yeah, so you can now get the game like kind of direct from us, from our website. That's where we get the most money, and we are using the Humble widget from that. You can also buy it on the Humble store. You can buy it from the Epic store. You can buy it from GOG, and of course you can get it on Steam. It's the same version. It's entirely up to you. The achievements in the game work regardless of where you are, you know, where you bought it. We have our own achievement system. We will eventually have our own mod system that integrates with Steam, but could be used anywhere as well. So it doesn't really matter. It's entirely up to you where you prefer to get the game. Okay, so you know that was a big exciting thing that happened because we're on the Epic Store, and there's not that many games on there, so it's cool. What else? Okay, so there was a rebalancing of some stuff. This CO2 emissions. We've changed this a lot because it depended. There were some dependencies that were kind of not perfect. So average temperature goes up, right, over time as carbon emissions increase. I mean, that's a fact. Okay, there's no point arguing about that. But we now have two things. We have like CO2 emissions, which is like your stuff, and then we have global CO2 emissions, which will go up over time as other countries don't do anything about it. We're going to have some effects, I think, eventually that you'll be able to persuade other countries to match your carbon emissions if you have good foreign relations and stuff like that. But basically, what we've been doing here is fixing a problem where you could, for example, say you were a small country, say you were the UK, that you could reduce CO2 emissions to nothing, and then you know, climate change wouldn't happen. All you're doing is kind of slowing it down slightly, and we wanted a mechanism that allowed us to go, you're the US or you're China, you have a huge impact on this, or you're a small country and therefore you have a small impact on this. So we now have global emissions and your CO2 emissions, and the way that we scale that over time has changed to be a lot more accurate, and it's just better. We've improved that part of the game. Is kind of like all you need to really know. You can disable political capital completely. Should I show you? I'll show you. Because it changes tons of stuff, right? What am I doing? Quit to the main menu. I've forgotten how to do it. forgotten how to do it. Right, let's turn off political capital. You get a warning saying, what are you doing? This is a stupid thing to do. Because it's kind of not how we expect people to play the game. Okay, because it kind of breaks well, it doesn't break stuff, but it makes stuff a lot easier. And you would think that this was a 5-minute thing. Why can't the lazy dev do this? You just, you know, do it in one place. I wanted to make a proper job of it, so now you don't have those little outlines around all of the policies, because they're irrelevant, because they were only there to tell you about political capital. It doesn't show you in the middle how much political capital you had, because it doesn't matter. You can't click on it because it doesn't matter. If you go here, you'll see that there's no amounts for political capital, and it doesn't cost anything. It doesn't bore you with how much it costs to do things. If you go to the sliders, all that stuff on the right is gone because it's not part of the game, and that little stuff that used to pop up here and tell you how much it would use and restrict how much you could change, that is all gone. What I'm getting at is we did it properly. It's not in here either. It won't show you political capital here. It won't show you it anywhere, including here. There's so many places actually that you had to go through and check, does it still work if you turn off political capital. Anyway, we did it. Loads of people wanted it. I strongly advise you not to play the game like that. I do not think it is as good, because emergency powers become pointless and coalitions become pointless. However, if you just want to mess around, it's a cheat code effectively. You can do that. Now let me get back to my thing that I was doing, which is this one. Boom. For reasons that will become apparent. One of the things that I'm working on, I was working on yesterday and the day before, and I will still be working on it today, is coalition governments. Coalition governments, I've turned political capital off. Oh, who cares? Who cares? It doesn't matter for this purpose. Yeah, coalition governments are rare in the game, and they're much rarer than they should be. And this was to do with stuff on this screen and the way things worked. I've fixed it now. Basically, you are the Green Party, not the Green Party, but you're the party with like the green colour. The enemy party that opposes you in everything is the Red Party. If you're playing a country that has multiple parties, then there's a blue like moderate party in the middle, and it used to be that the settings for this were not quite as they should be, so the blue party would very rarely get any votes, and therefore you would never get a coalition, or very rarely would you get a coalition. This has been fixed and much better, and makes a lot more sense, and that now allows me to show you the new exciting stuff. So this is just before the election. It should be alright if I've turned off political capital. So I have the election. I warn you, I am going to lose quite horrendously, because I wasn't really... Oh my god, I really am going to lose. I need to get apathy lower. Much lower, because at the moment the turnout is really, really dreadful. Okay, I'm going to change this here so it works better with 3 parties, because it's only telling you about the player and the opposition. That's the opposition. They're not telling you about opposition 2. So I'm going to do this as a different sort of grid layout, so you can see that better. If you haven't watched the videos for a while, these are the votes I got. That's the votes the moderate party got. That's the vote the opposition got. And these are all the people who didn't vote, and they're coloured by who they would have voted for if we'd made them vote. So if they could be bothered, they would have shown out here. So actually, I didn't lose because of turnout. I lost because everyone hates me. Because if everyone had shown up, you can see this huge block of like red votes. Anyway, so we have a new thing, and that's this. You can now play Connect 4 or Match 3 games in the game. It's amazing. That's not it at all. So I did this just to visualize some stuff that I needed to look at in order to debug problems with coalitions. But actually I think it's rather cool, and I'm going to leave it in, although I'm going to move these icons over so it's more obvious. So these are all the simulated voters in the game. We only simulate 2,000 entities in the game. That is statistically fine. Okay, simulating more wouldn't make much difference. It would make the game very slightly slower, but it wouldn't really help at all. It just make loads of the graphs annoying. Anyway, so they are ranked from how much they loved us were green down here to how much they hated us. I might flip that around actually. Do you think I should flip that round? Because up the top should be happy, shouldn't it? Probably. keep it consistent. So these are all the voters. So this person down here, their approval is 78%. They are 78% happy with the government or the country, okay, which is kind of interesting. And right at the bottom here, the approval is 0%. They are furious, okay. Now, for all sorts of reasons, people don't vote sometimes, okay. And so this person, despite being furious, didn't even bother voting. How annoying! Our turnout was bad. So they're the light-coloured circles are people who didn't vote. Far too many people didn't vote in this game. I will fix it. The slightly darker ones, these ones, are people who did vote. So these people voted, these people voted, these people voted. The really dark ones are members of that party. And you can see there's loads of people in the blue party. Quite a few people in the red party. I've got a few. Actually, most of the people who supported me are members. Anyway, it allows us to do all sorts of complicated modelling of stuff that's quite interesting. And you can't see it here at the moment, but occasionally you will see someone that's out of their chunk. So you will see like a red dot in the blue or a green dot in the red. Because what we model is we model the loyalty of members of parties. So for example, this person here, yeah, they're a member of the blue party. And their approval is 33%. That's pretty low, which is why they're not voting for us. But you can see that they're kind of thinking of voting for this party. They're just on this kind of like brink of it. If you're a member, you will always vote for the party you're a member of, obviously. But it might be that you're doing that out of kind of blind loyalty. So if things change, if I get more support and I like push along here and I get some more people turning green, it might be that some of these party members, they might keep voting red even though they're actually starting to come around to my point of view. Eventually that will wear out because their loyalty to the party will kind of die out. Because it's been too many terms of a government that they've been happy with, that they've thought, look, I've always voted for the opposition, but actually no, I'm going to quit the party. Eventually they may even join my party. Anyway, I don't have examples of that at the moment. It's three like distinct blocks. Something else that we model is that if you don't have strong views, you're less likely to vote. So if things are kind of going okay, if you're really moderate, in the terms in which we kind of like display it here, then you won't vote. And there is a kind of like tendency in the middle here for people not to vote. So all these people around here, their approval, you know, like 46%, 47%. In other words, they don't have a particularly the government is amazing view, and they don't have a the government is evil view. So they're less likely to turn out. All these people here who are furious, not only have they all joined an opposition party, but they're all going to show up. They're always going to vote, because when you're angry you vote, and when you're really supportive and you cover yourself in badges supporting someone, you vote. It's when you kind of sort of, yeah, well, they're all the same kind of thing that you don't. I'm going to be improving this. I think it's worth putting in. It's sort of a little bit confusing maybe if you don't have me talking about it, but I still think it's helpful. And it's helpful to be able to look at someone like this and go, they didn't vote, but they were sympathetic to a particular party, so maybe we could have got out the vote. I need to explain this stuff here. That's their voting probability, 11%, and this is where it came from. And it comes from various things. So you have an innate chance that you're going to vote. It's kind of like how politically engaged is that voter. You then have your strength of feeling, which is what I was just talking about. Are you really angry? Strength of feeling 100%. Are you really happy? See, hardly anyone's really happy. I've really made a mess of the country. So yeah, but in the middle, look, strength of feeling is kind of low. You know, here, the closer you are to 50%, it's more kind of like, yeah, I'm not that bothered. And then you have party motivation, and party motivation is from activists. if you have a load of activists in the party, they will get out the vote. They'll be knocking on doors and saying, it's election day, don't forget to vote. So that will come into it. And hopefully looking at loads of this and looking at all these stats down here and the breakdown and all that, I did so badly. Look at that. Few poor people and socialists voted for me. I just whizzed through that game to get to the election anyway. Hopefully it's helpful. And this is like, don't forget, like we're in early access. This is like the first pass at this bit of UI. So it will get better. It will get better. I shouldn't apologise for it. I'm quite, it only took a day. I'm quite pleased with it, really. Other things. So we're doing bug fixing mostly coming up, really. Actually, oh, yeah, no, I forgot. I've lost. So we're going to be doing a bunch of bug fixing. Not great big bugs, but the more players you have, the more these tiny little circumstances show up. I fixed a bug this morning where if you had a drop-down list and hit escape, the game would crash. If you had a drop-down list open, fixed. Anyway, going to be doing some bug fixing coming up. And Australia will be going in as a new country. You probably noticed. Everyone knows what Australia looks like. That's Italy. That's the one people aren't sure. That's Spain. So that's coming up. Thank you to everyone who has bought the game, and thank you to everyone who has contributed ideas and feedback. Even if that feedback is just this bit of the game sucks. That's fine. Or this bit of the game's good. Whatever. All feedback is welcome as long as it's like polite and not dev is lazy and stupid and doesn't understand economics or politics. It's like the dev does. Anyway, and thank you for everyone who covers the game on stuff like YouTube and Twitch and stuff like that. If you follow some big YouTuber who you think would like the game and they haven't covered it, pester them to cover it. So you should. It's so topical. Look. Trump, Biden, taxes, everything, cover the game. That's always appreciated. Anything you can do to tell people that this game is in early access and what you think of it is great. And thank you to everyone who has been leaving a review. Hardly anyone leaves a review, and it's really helpful because otherwise you only get reviews from people who've got a bug or who are annoyed or just professionally dislike everything. So leaving a review, even if it's really simple, and just say, hey, I really enjoyed this game, good work, whatever. I'm begging here. Yeah, it's very undignified. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking. Thank you for watching these videos. If you like them, please like and subscribe, and I will do another video in 2 weeks. Thank you.